Race 3 now is the Allied Express Pace Chase. The Allied Express Pace. I always thought that was race 1 the last couple of weeks. That's the pattern I'd been into. 22.40 metres for the Allied Express.
Can't rely on anything these days.
You can't. And this is an interesting little race, this Jabon. I'm interested to see what you think of. Just giving it away. I'm interested to see what you give of Operative Line after your revelation last time out that horse was a chance. Then the market, of course, agreed with you 100%, but didn't win. But
well, I'll ask you a couple of questions, my friend.
Ooh, okay, we're back into the South African courtroom.
I'll tell you what we are.
Here we go.
Operative Line, Nicky No. We'll operate. So we're taking out Crime Rider.
Yes.
And hope he gets run on the last.
Yes.
And the worst thing is when they're drawn one. Dad Maleki's will have a conniption. So drawn one. I mean, really. So Operative Line gets across Nicky No. Surely.
Maybe, yeah, probably.
That wasn't a rhetorical question. It will.
Yep.
I'll bet my home years on it. Now.
Sure. Yep.
Does it hold the front?
No.
Does it hand? The two options really are to hand up, play the first dance for me, first dance, or you resist that challenge and you wait for. I did notice, or I was informed on burning questions this week. David Miles and Tim O'Connor and the lot, Brett Carroll. We're all big on You Betcha Tiger Pie. I quite vehemently disagree, but that would be the scenario if Operative Line leads, resists first dance, Herbie and Candyman, and then waits because the respect level for You Betcha Tiger Pie is so voluminous,
right,
that you wait for it and hand up to it.
I mean, I've been pumping You Betcha Tiger Pie up a bit, and you pumped it up last week, and I pumped it up last week to some degree, and also the week before.
You were very right about its gate speed, though.
Well, I watched the run at Wagga recently, and it couldn't lead there from the pole. But,
that's all you do. You just watch Shadow Celt.
I don't. And I watch a lot of replays, Jace, as I try and bone up on form, as they say, the classics. I just don't know. If I'm Herb, I'm not handing up. If I'm Herb and I'm holding out first dance, then I'm also going to hold out Mick, and I'm just going to try and lead all the way.
But you think it will hand up, so it's handing up to first dance then?
Well, I think first dance will cross it, and I think it will lead. Yeah. I think first dance will be in front.
My early speed says that first dance won't cross it for pure speed, personally.
Okay.
But, so if it doesn't, would Operative Line hold the front, or would it hand up to first dance anyway, even if it wasn't a speed battle?
Yeah, I think it will hand up to first dance, and I think if Mick Stanley comes a knocking, which he did, 3 runs ago and won mid-race, and I'm the Candyman, Greg Sugars, I'm probably going to keep rolling forward on the very much informed first dance until either I get the lead or it's on like Donkey Kong, which you never see. So I think at that point, Herbie is pulling the reins back and Greg's finding the lead.
Here's a funny question, or the conundrum here. So
right.
You'd still think in that scenario, You Betcha Tiger Pie still goes forward? Balances up and rolls forward. It's not going to go back.
No, it won't go back. No.
But You Betcha Tiger Pie, even though it's a good leader, there's very little exposed evidence of it being a breeze horse or an enforcer. But does Mick Stanley have such a big opinion of that horse that if you're caught in the breeze, you say, well, I'm going to lay down the law? There's a lot of questions in this race, isn't there?
Yeah, there are. There are. But I mean, I might be oversimplifying it, but I just think first dance is a terrific win bet, and I think it leads and wins. So I don't know.
Okay, well, I quite like that because I haven't provided a map for this race because it's too tricky. But
you have provided
a little graphic Operative Line.
Yeah.
And you might not think this. And to be honest, I'm far from sold that Operative Line would hold the front. But the record when leading is pretty good, isn't it?
It is good. 9 starts, 5 wins, 3 placings. Yeah. You forget about these things, Jace, until you bring the Bond data in, which is terrific. I like this. It's a nice touch. And first dance, look at that. 7 starts in front, 6 wins and a placing. So that's tickling me pink, as they say in the classics, Jace. So I'm very excited about that with first dance.
Here's the key. That does indicate, though, that first dance is quite dependent on finding the front, right? And it probably will. My bet, my bet is going to be operative line 1 by 3, 1 by 4, 1 by 5.
Yep.
You can nearly, depending on what price we're going to get, operative line might come up 240 a place. I might not even bother with the win bet because I'm so confident that it will get across Nicky Nana, and at worst will only be handing up to 1. You're behind the leader, right? Last time, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, last time it was behind the leader. It wasn't far from Captain Hammerhead. As my voice breaks, puberty has finally kicked in at 44. and last start, it wasn't amazing, was it? But it wasn't bad. It's made up ground, fast last half, 3 poles. If it's behind the leader, I would be shocked if it doesn't finish on the dice.
Well, there's potential then for a money race here, but you'd have to stagger it a few different ways. But ultimately, no matter how many ways you stagger this, it sounds like there's only, you know what I mean, 2 or 3 or 4 scenarios.
But this is where the belief has to kick in. Look at me in the eyes. Look at me in the eyes. Don't look away. Don't look away. Look at me in the eyes. Look at me in the eyes. Yeah, out. Do you believe me that operative line's going to get straight across Nicky Nana?
I believe that'll happen. But
if that happens, you have got a money race.
Yeah, 100%. But I think first dance, the form around Rakiro Rebel, the ladies in Red Run was tremendous. The way that this horse was charging through the line in that race. I mean, that form is better than operative line's form. This is a pretty high class pacer, drawn good enough to find the top. And I agree with you. If operative line does get to the front, I agree with you on that. And then first dance goes to the lead. Absolutely, we've got a money race situation.
If I was backing operative line to win, I would want it to hold the front. But I'll be backing it mostly to place. So I'm very happy with your scenario. And look, we'll go through these. If you were to have a money race, I'm not going to. If you were, though, you'd be including Radius, yes?
Yes, you would. Yep.
Final Collect?
Yes.
Kowalski for
absolutely. I think
your mate.
Absolutely. It's a high class horse. Yep.
Jillaby, yeah, why not?
Yeah, has to go in.
That might nearly be it, might it?
Yeah, it is. I know. I've just looked at harness.org. Bet it's got Ideal Escape $6. I would have had it far longer. And I cast I cast no shadow. Doesn't appear to be going as well as the top line horse that horse was at its best. So for third, you've got to play. You Bet Your Tiger Pie.
Yeah. Also, yes. Yeah. And then
Radius, Final Collect, Kowalski Analysis, and Jillaby Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
So you're locking in the other 2.
You might want to throw in Nicky Nana, but I just look at Radius and Nicky Nana, and I think it would run past.
Yeah.
There's 3 poles, 4 poles. It would run past. So yeah.
All right, love it.
We nailed that between us.
Yep. What could go wrong?
We should have a podcast.